How's it going, everybody? Let's say we go punch somebody in the face. How does that sound? Admiral Hackett uncovered a secret Cerberus lab, where I'm sure they're up to no good, researching things they have no business messing with. It's one of several N7 missions we'll get to go on through the course of the game. Give us an opportunity to see how Cerberus operates in the shadows when they think nobody's looking, while we're all preoccupied with the Reaper threat. They can go on about their dirty work. From talking to the elusive man on Mars, it's pretty clear that Cerberus has allied themselves with the Reapers. Maybe not a formal arrangement, but they're certainly doing the Reapers' work. And it's interesting, it takes me all the way back to Mass Effect 1 and Ilos, when we talked to the VI, Vigil, that the Protheans left behind. He lays it out pretty clear how the Reapers operate. You know, there's 50,000 year periods between when they arrive and come to harvest everybody, but during the course of those 50,000 years, they leave one of their own behind. In this case, I think that was Sovereign, or as it likes to call itself, Nazara. That's its proper name. They stay behind, and they set up agents all along that will essentially gently nudge and guide all the galactic species down a particular path. People in positions of authority, like politicians and, who knows, teachers, religious leaders, scientists, and so on and so forth. Anybody in a position of influence or power or authority. And they essentially get them to a certain place so that when the Reapers do arrive, everything's neat and in order, and they can go about their business with the least resistance and then disappear back off into dark space and get forgotten about until the next cycle comes about. Well, one of the patterns that repeats itself that's the most obvious is that the galactic species like to take all their heads of government and put them in one place, namely the Citadel. Well, the Citadel is conveniently the back door through which the Reapers come when they come to harvest everybody. It was called the Conduit, which we learned about in Mass Effect 1. Then what they do is they take out all the heads of state. They use the Citadel as a hub to turn off all the Mass Effect relays, to isolate all the individual species, and then they go out and pick them off one by one. Nice and easy. Well, in this case, that didn't go so well. All right. What Shepard managed to do was, what the Protheans did first was they closed that back door. They put a code in with the Citadel. They uploaded something that when the Reapers sent their signal, the conduit wouldn't open, so they needed Saren to open it for them. Well, we stopped him from doing so, and it left Sovereign hanging by himself, and we kicked his ass, right? And so Plan B was to use one of the outlying Mass Effect relays as something of an express, so the Reapers could get here and probably hit us like all at once when we weren't expecting it. And that was Project Rho, the Arrival DLC in Mass Effect 2. Well, we went and took care of that, threw an asteroid into it, destroyed it, along with a whole bunch of Batarians, which was kind of an added bonus, and put a stop to that, and essentially delayed the Reapers, right?
Commander, I've got a hail from Admiral Hackett.
Put him through, Lieutenant.
Shepard, we've uncovered a secret Cerberus lab, function unknown. We sent in a recon team, but they were forced to pull out before they got very far.
Any other intel?
We think they're using the facility to warehouse and study Reaper tech. We've been wondering how Cerberus is connected to the Reapers, and this might give us some answers.
We're on it.
Find out what Cerberus is doing and get me any Reaper tech samples you can, Commander. Hack it out.
Right, so since the Reapers had to hoof it here on foot, I'm sure it's no coincidence they hit Earth first, because they're pissed at humanity, Shepard in particular, right? But they come here, and the Reapers need allies, right? They don't just need agents in place, now they need allies to help them do their work, I think. And Cerberus is the perfect ally, because they are a very powerful organization. They may have started as some rogue Black Op group with the Alliance.
Commander, I'm tracking some attack with a Reaper signature. That's your first sample to grab. Updating your nav point.
On my way.
But kind of like a really nasty cancer, they went off on their own and grew into what you see today, and they have their fingers in just about every cookie jar. They own politicians, they own scientists, they own, you name it, military officials, and so on and so forth on down the line, right? And besides that, then you have the Reapers that also have their agents already in place, maybe a counselor or two, various ambassadors, presidents, and leaders, and generals, and so on and so forth amongst all the other species and all that, right? But humanity playing such a big part, why not take the greatest quote-unquote human organization, right? Who's supposed to be all pro-humanity, but when you look at all their methods, there's nothing humane about it. Not the methods or the results. Nothing Cerberus does ever seems to end well for anybody, especially humanity. There's always a lot of dead bodies laying around and no real benefit to anyone but the elusive man in finding new ways to do really horrible shit to people. But be that as it may, he certainly doesn't lack for ambition. And so anyway, him being a tool for them, that gives the Reapers access to a lot of different agencies that they otherwise wouldn't have. Let's see, this is finally here. Wow, the troops here are intense. They call training integration. This is a recruit being integrated tomorrow. Okay, so this is an integration facility. I'm assuming by integration it means turning these troopers into husks like what we found on Mars when we pulled up the faceplate of that one Centurion. Alright, it's also notable that these little miniature samples of Reaper tech here strongly resemble Project Rho, which, if you remember from the Arrival DLC in Mass Effect 2, it essentially indoctrinated the entire base there. The project was to destroy that mass relay to prevent the Reapers from coming. They got so indoctrinated that the very doctor we went to save from prison that had put this whole project in motion.
Only lead to metagel advances for Hanar. Only Cerberus would call that a failure.
It twisted her mind to where she was actually welcoming the Reapers, and she was going to prevent that from happening to make sure the Reapers got here. She was treating them as gods. Integration successful, suicide on capture orders. Cerberus is God, basically. Wow. Okay, so it's complete, not just brainwashing, but mind control. Alright, so probably a very brutal form of what the Reapers use to indoctrinate people.
Well, that's weird looking. Guess we found it.
Yeah, that looks like a kind of like a little miniature
Roger that. Meet you at the landing pad.
Project Rho artifact. Also like to mention that of the various indoctrinated individuals that have had a lot of power influence, like Saren, for example,
Located, Commander. Nav point updated.
they're all slightly different. Now we're going to face some real resistance. Now it gets real. Here we get to see the old biotic brutality in action.
Roger that.
Go ahead and prime that viewpoint vision. I need to get a detonation. I think my next upgrade to Nova, I think, does double damage to shields, armor, and barriers. I think it's really sexy. But anyway, Saren, I think the Reapers play on weaknesses or maybe even strengths that they find, quirks that they find in organics. Like with Saren, I think it was a hidden sense of cowardice or fear. His self-preservation got to the point where he would sacrifice, the universe if need be, to keep himself. If I cooperate with them, then they'll spare me because I will have been a useful tool. And so that's how they played him, like a bunch of pimps, right? Okay, and then you look at the Elusive Man, I think they play off his pride, mixed with a lot of ambition and a lot of power, and a very well-established group that has no ethical boundaries and no governing, what would you say? There's nothing to hold them in check. In other words, Cerberus essentially, they dictate what they do. There's no oversight whatsoever. Anyway, and then let's see, and then you have the Doctor from Project Rho, and hers was more of almost a religious sense, a sense of worship, right? And so they play off these things differently, but it comes to the same effect. Is it essentially paves the way? They allow you, or they influence you to do things that make things easier for them, so the machines can just walk in and do their thing.
It appears to be
Well, I have to say this is that of all the cycles that have gone on before, I think the one thing that the Reapers have never faced before is a unified galaxy, because their plan
Second sample
basically
secured. Heading back
depends.
to you now.
Negative, Commander. Pad got hot. Had to bug out. Got 3 birds on my 6. Taking fire.
Yeah, now it's survival mode.
Making 4. We'll rendezvous when I can.
I don't remember if this is timed or we just have
We
to
just need
kill
to
a
hold out
certain
until
number of
Cortez can
enemies.
pick us up.
But I'm just going to pound
Like
everything I
having
see.
your
I
back
don't
to the
care.
wall.
Never
But
said
anyway,
it would be easy.
I think one key element of their plan or their method is to divide and then conquer. And if they face a unified galactic force. In other words, if we can really go get everyone to get on the same page and work together, we have a chance of kicking their ass. I don't think the Reapers know what to do about that. We've already disrupted their plans twice. Like I say, they couldn't get in through the conduit. That didn't work. Right? We can thank the Protheans in part for that, and making the way possible by locking the back door long enough for us to deal with Saren and keep them reopened. And then by disrupting, basically we just delayed them when we destroyed that Mass Effect relay, although there was the added bonus of getting rid of a bunch of pesky Batarians who take pleasure in killing people.
Lieutenant!
Last stand, Commander.
Like the Reapers
Just
really
stay
need any
focused and
help.
keep at it.
Between the Batarians and Cerberus and everything else, the Reapers will just sit by. Watch us kill each other. Seems like. Anyway, if everyone could just work together, and I think that's kind of the message here. Although with humanity, I think there's also an underlying message where, you know, what we can't do alone, we can do together. But if we can't get together, we're going to do it alone anyway, because humanity is not going to bow down. The human spirit is indomitable, and that is another variable that I don't think the Reapers were prepared for, was mankind. Shepard specifically being the, I guess, prime or elite example of humanity. Whether you agree with Shepard's decisions one way or another, we get shit done, you know? And it's for the right reasons. As opposed to Cerberus, which does all the bad things for all the bad reasons, but uses humanity as an excuse. Egomaniacal bullshit is really what it boils down to. There's a lot of psychology involved in there, but the bottom line is it gets a lot of innocent people fucked up. See, Cerberus, when they need resources, they'll go get those resources, and they'll kill you to take your shit. But why kill you to take your shit when they could kidnap you and experiment on you, which results in your death, and still take your shit and probably profit from whatever they get from experimenting on you also? You see how they think? It's that type of thing. And there's no humanity. There's no betterment for anybody in any of that. It's done wrong, and the results are wrong. It's bad all the way across the board. Anyway, just an observation. But yeah, it's neat how the Reapers play differently on people, depending on what they can use, as long as it all works to the same end, right?
Do you copy?
And being machines, they don't have any compassion. There's no remorse. There's no turning back.
You'll make it. Let's just keep the landing pad clear.
They have an end result. They calculate the odds of making that happen, and then do that at the expense of everybody standing in the way, because they're going to kill everybody anyway, right? All right, so he said clear the landing pad. Watch this. He said clear my landing pad. Get off my landing pad. I love this. Oh, they'll start coming in the back door here in a minute, but this is fun.
We're ready for extraction.
No, bitch, no. No. Get off my landing pad. Oh shit, yeah, they're coming into the back. Yeah, they took over. God! I wish they'd kept coming up right there. That was awesome. I'm actually wasting XP here instead of getting a few extra credits for unused metagel. Get extra XP. Not like it matters. I mean, we started the game at level 30. We'll be at level cap.
We're at the extraction point, ready for pickup.
Almost there.
Not a big deal. I won't worry about it.
Right away.
Those turrets. No. Oh, those turrets. On Insanity, those turrets are almost one-shotters. If they get you with one full blast, you're dead. They'll whittle you down really, really fast.
Roger that.
Awesome. Like that? Yeah, I love this build.
Commander, we've got our best engineers looking at the Reaper tech you secured from that lab.
What was Cerberus doing with it?
We don't know yet, but whatever Cerberus is up to, it can't be good. Even if we can't determine its purpose, we've disrupted their experiments.
I doubt they'll just close up shop.
Agreed. We'll keep sending strikes against the facility. Good work, Commander.
Yeah, it's not just the elusive man, though. He's a key agent in place. He's definitely a strong ally for the Reapers, even if he doesn't see himself that way. His work still says differently. I mean, he's making husks for the Reapers. I mean, shit, that speaks for itself. But they have a lot of other agents in place too, and those agents are hard to detect because by talking to them, they will speak logically as if their ideas are right. And they may even sound right because they're the status quo. It's the way we've always done things, you know? And so people don't bat an eye at it. And then when everything's set up, the Reapers just walk right on in. Pretty insidious, isn't it?
Commander?
I appreciate you guys hanging out with me to talk about a little lore, watching me ground pound, punch some people in the face. We're going to do a lot more of that, and I mean a lot more of that. We'll probably head to Palaven next, although we might go look for some side stuff to earn a few extra credits. If you want to subscribe and you haven't already, click the button up top. If you want to catch any of the trilogy playthroughs, you can click any one of those boxes. It'll send you to the playlist. I really appreciate you hanging out. Y'all are awesome, and you take care, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.